Welcome to the Political Mechanic. I am your host, Stephen Thane. This is the second in a series to help voters differentiate between big government versus limited government candidates. Before diving into this exploration of big government versus limited government candidates, it is important to acknowledge that both families and institutions have vital roles to play in a healthy society. This isn't an indictment of every expert or public school teacher. Far from it. Rather, it is a reminder that the foundational responsibility for raising the next generation belongs with parents, and that institutions must derive their authority from and remain accountable to the families they serve. Throughout this series, you'll see patterns of how trust in experts and centralized bodies can lead to expanded government power at the expense of individual liberty and parental choice. Use these ideas as a lens to evaluate any candidate, regardless of party, on whether they truly trust families or default to bureaucratic control. So, what is a big government candidate? It is a politician that is prone to trust experts and institutions more than families and individuals. They look at the needs of government more than the needs of the voters. This is especially true when it comes to education. Will they support the ability of parents to choose the schools and curriculum they want or not? So, what is a small government candidate? A small government candidate is concerned about government growth, will trust private efforts and private organizations to deal with problems before they trust government agencies. They will support school choice and the right of parents to choose the curriculum. It is impossible for a candidate to favor limited government if they think the state has power over parents to choose the curriculum. What does a politician's view of institutions and families tell us? Well, it reveals whether they believe in limited government or big government. Politicians who support limited government tend to trust families. Those who support big government tend to trust institutions and the experts who run them, such as is found in public schools. So, is public trust in public schools declining? Absolutely. In a 2023 poll, it was found about half of U.S. adults, 51%, say the country's public K-12 education system is generally going in the wrong direction. A far smaller share, 16%, say it's going in the right direction, and about a third, 32%, are not sure, according to the Pew Research Center survey conducted in November 2023. So, how do limited government natural law politicians view institutions? Well, they should value institutions, but only when they serve families. Institutions like schools, banks, and churches offer structure and continuity, which are very important, but their purpose should be to strengthen families, not control them. Institutions provide a critical role in society because even though families form the basis of a strong society, an individual family unit has a very short lifespan. Institutions are needed to provide stability. The danger is when institutions begin to take advantage of young families and extract their power. So, how is this done? Well, institutions grow by doing three things. First, taking responsibility from families. For example, schools taking over moral instruction or mental health roles, giving them an excuse to expand and secure more funding through taxation. Second, centralized decision making. When school boards, state agencies, or federal departments override local or parental control, families lose choice and voice. And third, capturing family resources through bond measures, levy powers, and state taxes. Institutions collect money from families to fund systems that often refuse to be accountable to the voters they serve. And they've been working on these funding mechanisms for over 100 years. If you look at this chart that shows how public schools are employing 88% more administrators with only 8% more students over the last 25 years, a clear sign of extracting more wealth with less to show for it. This isn't just bureaucratic creep, it's a quiet transfer of power. The more institutions take, the more they justify taking. And every dollar or decision they claim is one less a family controls. So what do big government relativist politicians believe? They often see families as too fragile or inconsistent to build society around. Instead, they place trust in centralized institutions run by, you guessed it, experts, which they believe can engineer better outcomes. So what's the practical result of this belief? Power shifts from the kitchen table to the conference table, from mothers and fathers to administrators and experts. Families lose agency, and institutions begin defining what's best without accountability to the people they serve. Do relativist politicians acknowledge the institutional failures? Rarely. While they are quick to point out the failures and weaknesses of parents, they often overlook decades of failures in public institutions, especially education. So let me give you an example. The abandonment of phonics in favor of ineffective sight reading, the confusion caused by new math and Common Core, the rewriting of American history to reflect ideology over fact, the refusal to explore scientific dissent like critiques of Darwinian evolution, and of course, No Child Left Behind, which resulted in dumbing down all education. These failures have harmed generations of students. Yet relativist politicians continue defending these systems because they refuse to acknowledge the alternative, which is parents, who are non-experts and who are often doing a better job than the institution. They just see it as an institutional problem. All they need to do is fix the institution. So can we see this divide in recent legislation? Yes, in Idaho's 2025 legislative session, Senate Bill 1068 gave parents power, choice over curriculum, the right to teach at home in a hybrid model, and a $1,700 expense account to customize the child's education, which was simply placing in code protection for an already existing program that over 11,000 students in Idaho are now using. And another bill, Senate Bill 1188, which would have killed this program by giving power to the State Charter Commission, stripping away parental choice and placing authority in an unelected institution. This bill eventually died, but the issue will come back next year. I already hear that some legislators want to do away with all virtual education. So Senate Bill 1068 was killed in committee. Senate Bill 1188 was advanced. 6 of the 9 members of the committee voted against trusting parents and for empowering an institution, despite offering no evidence of misuse or fraud, or that the Charter Commission had expertise or ability to do better than these 11,000 families. So what does this tell us about these 6 politicians? Well, it tells me who they trust, not parents, but systems, not families, but institutions. And that's the key to understanding what kind of government they really support. So what's the takeaway for our voters? If you want to vote for limited government, look at how candidates view the family, parental choice, institutional accountability, and ask, do they empower families or empower bureaucracies? Do they support school choice or institutional control? Do they build from the bottom up or from the top down? So, to me, the new litmus test for limited government politician is, do they support the right of parents to direct their children's education? If they don't, I don't see how they can be serious about limited government, no matter what they say. So politicians who believe in truth and liberty empower families. Politicians who believe in control and systems empower institutions, even when those institutions have failed. So don't just ask what a politician promises, ask who they trust and what they're willing to overlook, because the answer will shape your child's education and your family's future.